welcome to the Feast of Weeks seminar, self-management. It's just a conversation on how we can, ways we can heal the world. The nation Yahweh has had the answers for years. Yahweh has left a roadmap for us. And all we have to do is follow. Once we follow the roadmap, I believe, we all believe, and we've seen the fruits of our labors, that you will navigate and overcome this world. Today we're diving into real life problems, right, that we face daily. People suffer with depression, people suffer with identity confusion, right? Fear of failure. And the solution is following moral attributes that Yahweh laid out for us and managing yourself as a person. One of the first things I want to touch on is it a One first thing I want to touch on is mental health. Mental health is huge now, right? We see it everywhere. People struggling with mental health, right? People talking about therapy, people taking medication, and I think coupled with that, or people even try, is the responsibility of your own mental fitness, being self-aware, right? Having a routine, having self-discipline, keeping yourself grounded. I think all the things from like emotional regulation, it promotes personal discipline and proactive mental maintenance. We are what we eat, and eating is more than just what you put in your mouth, right? Eating is what all five senses ingest: what you feel, what you see, what you hear, all forms of consumption, right? All the information we was in the class last night. We talked about consume, devour, what it means. Go back to that class last night, the real meaning of Psalms 2. But everything you consume is a part of your being. It's a part of your mental, part of your mind, which is a part of your spirit. So how does one stay stable in spirit and mind? What are some of the things that people do? I, for myself, I have a mantra to myself. Like I tell myself every day to be like Yahweh, become more like Yahweh, be more disciplined, change things within myself to be better, right? That's some of my practices. I work out. Me working out helps me have a more clear mind. Anyone tell me what else anyone else does for self-discipline with your mind and spirit? Okay.
Some of the things that I can add are meditation and mindfulness, practicing mindfulness, practicing gratefulness, being grateful for the things that Yahweh has blessed you with. I think there's a scripture that says that when you're faithful over the little, Yahweh blesses you a lot. So that also falls under the umbrella of self-management, because if you can't manage a little bit, you won't be able to manage a lot, So definitely being able to focus in and zero in on the things that you are currently working on, definitely will give you good practices for being able to manage all of the things that Yahweh will give you in the long run.
First, I want to thank Yahweh and His Son Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, for allowing us to come together like this, Tony Yahweh for this meeting, and for the opportunity for me to sit among such fine folks. Praise God.
Praise God.
I'll introduce myself for the audience. Kaki, Yahweh, I'm Miami. I'm going to talk about this from the lens of someone born and raised in the nation of Yahweh. We heard different, it was just different growing up. A lot of us had a very, I want to say sheltered environment. We heard a lot of what Yahweh and Yahweh taught about building the nation. And for me, I always heard, well, you're not going to have to get out there and work. You're going to own your own business. You're going to have people working for you. I became, I was working hard. Working harder than some of the people I ever had met in my life. And here I am having this mindset that I should not be working. I should have ownership. I should be owning my own business because that's what my Imam Abba taught me. That's what Yahweh taught them. And here I am working hard for the machine. So for me, I had to go through a reprocessing for myself, hearing that I'm a God and I'm going to own this and that. And I'm working hard and everybody telling me what to do. And then I'm exposed to so many wicked people. Like, I didn't have that. I had wonderful people around me who taught me so many things and who didn't tell me lies. And here I am in the face of people who are smiling at me, but they are extremely wicked when I turn around. Just because I'm good and capable of being good, and they just can't stand it. So I had to manage myself completely different from what I have been doing for my whole life. And coming from that lens, I think there are two sides. Because when I sit amongst you guys, my guard is completely down. But then when I go out amongst the world, my guard has to be up. I have to protect myself, and then I also have to protect the name of Yahweh. So mentally, that was draining for a while until I understood my role as being the daughter of Yahweh. That this is all a part of it. This comes with it, and I'm stepping into ownership. I didn't have that in the beginning, and I did have to go out there and grind. But now I see what I was taught. I have to be a part of that, and moving forward, when I say that to my children or people growing up around me, I need to set things up to where I mean what I say. If I say, oh, you're not going to have to get out there and work, then I have something already set up for them. I can't tell them that without having that in place first. Or else I'm going to say, you're going to go to school, you're going to get an education, and you're going to create something for yourself, and that's going to take hard work. So mentally, I'm ready. Toda Yahweh for his books, because I had to go and educate myself all over again outside of what I had been taught, because it was very depressing to go out there and now I'm working and here I am in the pain, working hard, but it's like now. So praise Yahweh.
What did you do to get beyond the feeling of depression?
There are people call them affirmations, but we had them growing up. I point to Yahweh. I have divine intelligence and superior power of mind. I can be, I must be, and I will be successful in my evil Israelization. My positive mental force of morality and my can-be attitude means I can and will for Yahweh. So I would say those things often. I don't say them as often now because now those are inward. But just, I had to look in the mirror and tell myself certain things, literally, just to get up, and here I am about to go to work or catch this bus to go to school. Saying those things, and then also prayer. Prayer really helps me. Like, talking to Yahweh in prayer really helped me mentally. And then also, in my family, there's mental health issues. There's history. My older brother, who my Imam Abba are actually visiting him right now in his home, suffers from extreme schizophrenia. He was diagnosed at 15. And then my older sister also suffers from that as well, not as extreme. So just being able to talk to Yahweh and asking him to protect and keep me mentally did help me and is helping me. So, praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. Excellent. Well, I'll talk about certain things with myself too. Like I said, I'm working out. helped me a lot also. Um, I, me being in a mental space, um, definitely trying to pray twice a day, reminding myself to pray and have prayer was really big for me. Um, just knowing that, okay, correcting myself because every other thing is on your mind, right? You think about money, you think about your job, you think about friends, you think about everything else, and you almost step outside of yourself most of the time. Um, sometimes there's a separation of people, and I've noticed it also in the nation where they they look at the nation as like it's a separate entity, right? And the world is separate. But if you are under the laws of Yahweh, this is what you follow. For myself, then that's what my norm is, right? There is no okay the way I conduct myself where I conduct myself very different. This is how I conduct myself. I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to correcting your behavior and looking within. There's a quote from Yahweh, and I think about it all the time. I can't remember exactly which video it was from, but he asked the crowd the question. He said, "Do I come from without, or do I come from within?" And that's huge because within ourselves is where the world begins. Right? Which you see what you know. You comprehend how you feel. It's all internal, right? It's all inside of you. So for mental health, people with mental health, a lot of times they're probably thinking outside of themselves. That's why people that suffer from schizophrenia, suffer from these different mental issues, they constantly go, oh, you looking at me. Oh, what's your problem, right? I'm sure we all encountered someone somewhere that felt as if we were looking at them, talking about them, laughing about them. We're like, I don't even know who you are. I don't even know who you are. Like, why do you feel that way? You know, and I mean, I'm from a generation where, in the Caribbean, they tell you, oh, just read the Bible, read the Bible. No one even tells you how. Oh, what? Oh, it's in the Bible. Okay. Okay. I mean, I know it's in there, but what is it, right? So, yeah, self study, finding yourself is huge. Anything, brother?
Yes. And first, I want to say thank you, Kathy, for sharing what you just shared. Um, Unfortunately, I never considered what you just said, being raised in Yahweh. Um, I had the experience of meeting Yahweh, being under his Gazette teaching. Um, Openly, I have basically no problems. I'm basically an outgoing person. I was one of those that was sent in a city, didn't have any money, didn't know anybody, didn't have a place to stay. And following Yahweh's instructions, uh, was able to build a very nice sized congregation. Um, it was a shock to me when Yahweh was physically arrested and when he ascended, because I was one of those I felt that he would always physically be here. One of the great experiences I had when I was incarcerated, uh, he visited me when I was incarcerated, and he let me know that he would always be with me. At the time, I didn't know that I would never physically see him again. But because of his teaching and because of my experiences building something from nothing, all I had was lesson 1 and 2, You're Not a Nigger book, and Yahweh's instruction. So I never felt like, well, I understood that everything that I had learned, I had to put it in action. Because I could always call Yahweh, I could go to his office, I could talk to him when I wanted to talk to him. And now I'm finding that he still is with me more so now than ever. I experienced that when I was incarcerated. Now I understand that he had to physically leave us so that we could grow into him. Because as long as he was here physically, we could call him, we could talk to him, we could lean on him. Now it's our responsibility to build the nation of God. And we have to understand that. We hear through the teaching that heaven is here on earth. Now the question I constantly ask myself, do I really want that? I can hear heaven is on earth, but do I really want that to be real in my life and my Yahweh family's life? Well, now that takes a commitment from me that I have to be a righteous example. Yahweh is not physically here, but who am I? Am I going to exhibit the characteristics of Yahweh? Or am I going to exhibit the characteristics of being deceived, exhibiting the characteristics of Lucifer? And I will never forget, he told us if you wanted to see the devil, go look in the mirror. And I was in the bathroom and looked in the mirror. And it made me say, I got to change. So in terms of our title, which is self-management, I think of self-control, I think of time control. And just before the feast, I made several commitments to my personal self, because I understand that the better I am myself is the better I assist somebody else in becoming their true self. And I noticed that I'm talking a lot, so I'm going to pass the mic.
No, you were spot on, right? If Yahweh had to be, one of the things that Yahweh stuck with me also that Nelson said was that we're not looking for people that we help them make be a certain way. We didn't want to have to make you follow the law. That is the epitome of self-management.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback off the point of, also being raised in Yahweh and understanding that, there's one way that we are, because I also, experienced a lot of things working and living in the world on my own, having my own apartment and things like that. And never once did I ever feel like I had to do something other than what I was raised. Now, of course, we all make mistakes, we all waver, we all, have moments of weakness, I would say. But understanding the laws, understanding Yahweh's teachings, understanding the things that he always taught, gives you a baseline to return to. no matter what you experience out there. That's why I feel like the book Overcoming the World is such an important relic in our culture. You know, we have to understand that overcoming the world is much more than just separating from what they do out there. We have to also understand it. We have to also make sure that we can properly navigate it. Self-management is one of those elements that helps you properly manage and navigate this world when it comes to being like a successful individual. If you don't understand what's going on out there, how do you expect to become successful in this world that we also have to live in? Yahweh being Yahweh said to be, you know, in the world, not of it. So that means that there's going to be a lot of things that you do outside of your personal circle or your home or your Hebrew family, you know, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of the wickedness that's out there. That doesn't mean that you have to do things wickedly. You know, we're in tech, you know, we don't have to be a part of all of the wickedness that comes with, you know, any industry that we decide to be in. But that doesn't mean we can't make that money. You know, that doesn't mean we can't take part, you know, of that success and use it for our nation's benefit. And those are things that I think about daily. Daily, I think about, you know, how we have to use this world to our advantage in order to further our nation. And that is probably the biggest thing when it comes to like self-management. Understanding those elements, making sure you manage your time well, making sure you manage your money well, making sure that you manage yourself in a way that y'all would be proud of, you know, while we also experience this world and live in this world.
Right. You brought up a good point there. I've heard that saying from I was a child, would not, you know, be in the world, not out. And what exactly does that mean to someone that never came across the information you have? How do we break that down? What is it to be in the world, not out? And this year, 2025, there is a slew of bombardment of temptation out there, right? It's online, it's on television, it's in schools. They're creating laws that are, I mean, just outright immoral, right? They're trying to affect the minds of children, and they're doing a great job of affecting the minds of adults. So for me, being in the world is being able to self-manage yourself and navigate past all these different temptations. You know, as a man, a lot of men are tempted by women, right? A lot of people are tempted by money. A lot of people are tempted by recognition of people, how people see you, right? I have to be seen a certain way, right? And you have to look past all of them. So I think the moral attributes are a staple on how to get past all of them, right? Yahweh has left the road. The first word I want to go over is being righteous, right? Being righteous is one of the major pillars of self-management and self-governance. Truth. Big thing, prevent self-destruction. Huge. I mean, I can't tell you how much friends I've had in college. I've watched them throughout life self-destruct, go on to alcohol, gone to drugs, broken up families, right? All because of self-destruction, not feeling like they have a purpose, not feeling like they're contributing to society, right? One of the things that I came up with, by studying this, different psychologists and whatnot, was that what is happiness? And I think for me, happiness is achieving small goals. You set a goal and you achieve it, and you feel happy because you make that. It could be something small. It could be like, you know what? I'm gonna clean my room on Thursday, right? It could be what? I'm gonna clean my car, right? And when that car is clean inside, put that air, what do you call it, the air freshener in there, and that smells good to you. You're happy, like, oh my God, like, I did that. You take that, you apply it to everything, to skills. You might want to become an electrician, you might want to be a plumber, right? You might want to get tech. You might want to own your own business. But I tell you right now, it's not just hopping up and, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go start a shipping company. That's not how it works. That life is not, nothing in life works that way. But being righteous, right? Looking beyond impulsive decisions. Being righteous is even when that person might be trying to sully your name, you keep it going, you keep your composure, and you keep doing right. That's what righteousness means to me. What does righteousness mean to anyone? Okay, skip it. What does it mean to you?
For me, righteousness from studying Yahweh and Yahweh's books, and I'm so thankful for my upbringing, is doing the right thing all the time to where you're not even thinking about it. It's not even a thought. Like, oh, should I do this? For me, it's always doing the right thing.
Right.
I have clients who will give me wads of cash at a time to do something for them. And it's before they won't even give it to their spouse. They'll give it to me before they give it to someone else, because they know she's gonna do the right thing. I can count on her to, and if something it goes wrong, automatically they know it's not me. They're like, okay, what happened? What was the situation? Because that's your reputation. That's your good name. And being righteous and doing righteous things and teaching righteousness, because when you do something that's right, people learn from that. You being a good person and doing good all the time, you will rub off and influence people to where they're doing good all the time. I don't eat meat. I haven't ate meat. It's going on like 15 years now. My close circle, some of my close friends, my best friends, they don't eat meat. I never once said, oh, that's bad for you. You shouldn't do that. I'm not her. I used to eat meat. I don't care about like that. But they don't eat meat. And of course, it's from them just seeing the benefits and just learning. And that's what righteousness does. Righteousness prevails every single time. So righteousness for me is just having it innate. Like it's like the back of your hand. It's not second nature, it's your first nature. It's the first thing you're gonna go to. Even with counsel, like some people will come to me and be like, hey, Aggie, look, you got a minute? I need to ask you about something. What would you do if this and that? And I'm like, what is the right thing? First, before I can tell you what I would do, what do you think is the right thing to do? And they're like, you know what? You're right. And right is right. And being righteous is going to give you a good reputation. It's going to open doors. Where I am now, I'll have been there for 10 years. And this is a job that you need to be righteous in order to succeed. You need to be moral. It's the death industry, so you need to do the right thing, or else you're going to be out of there. And from having a righteous character, doing the right thing, speaking right things, and speaking goodness, I can go anywhere. Yahweh has so many opportunities that if something happened today, I'd be okay tomorrow. from having a righteous reputation. Righteousness is security. It really is. And going back to what you said about happiness, being righteous is happiness. Knowing that you could say whatever you want to say about me to whoever, and they're going to be like, that's not true. Oh, yeah? Really? Okay. Like that. That's my happiness. Like, you can't come behind my back. Well, you can do whatever you want. But my righteousness is going to supersede every single time. And because of that, I have a duty. I can never falter. Because the moment I do something wrong or wicked or unjust, that's it. There goes like, wow, I never thought I can't believe I ever did that. I don't know about her now. That's it. So now I'm duty bound to always be righteous. I can't even trip up now. I can't slip up. And a little thing about happiness, the aisle seat on the plane for me. So you can just get up and go to the bathroom. You don't have to step over anybody.
Righteousness is most important. But being righteous, one of the things that we have to realize as members, citizens of the nation of Yahweh is we must be righteous. That's an attribute that Yahweh has given us. And when you exhibit yourself not in a righteous way, people look at us, are you a Yahweh? And that's what we have to understand. You have to exhibit righteousness. The moral attributes of what Brother has brought to our attention this morning, this afternoon, is a must. It's not an option.
That's it.
When Sister Kyrie said, everything go crazy today, she'll be all right tomorrow. Well, the nation of Yahweh is going to be all right because we're going to be that righteous example. And the world, the people of the world, will usher us anything that we need because they know that they can trust us. They will know that they can depend on us because of the examples that we have exhibited in this time. Understanding that these are the last days, people looking for righteousness, people looking for honesty, being truthful and upright and straightforward. People want that. The class last night when it talked about this society, this world being destroyed, we as the nation of God have to be that righteous example. And understand, if being that this world is going to be destroyed, what do we want? Are we going to wait till it's destroyed? And then run to Yahweh then? We're really looking for the righteous now. Our family now to help build the example. During Egypt's time, when all the other nations fell, they came in one nation. In Egypt, our brother Joseph was actually ruling. And we have to understand when this society falls, that they're going to be looking for righteousness. There was a time I remember I was in Detroit, and I was kind of living in a mid-neighborhood, different nationalities was living there. And I would always just walk by and speak to everybody, whatever the nationality was. But the power had cut off in 12 states. And it was kind of frightening. And when I went outside, it was about 15 to 20 people standing in the front of the house. And I was like, why are these people standing here? And I realized they came to me to find out what to do. They was afraid. They was afraid. They didn't know what was going on. And I said, well, there's a store here. I'm going to get some beans. And believe me, those 15, 20 people, when I got to the store, they was there watching me, picking up what I was picking up to take back. So people are watching us. You may not know it, but people are actually watching us. So we have to be righteous. It's mandatory, it's a must. And if people come amongst us that are not righteous, we have to defend our nation. We have to have the attitude that you cannot be amongst us. Now, some of us was allowed 30, 20, 30 years. I believe it's 46, 43 years now when Yahweh established the nation of Yahweh. And I remember Yahweh telling some of us that was around him that those people that come later will not have as much time as you all had to get right. So some of us that are here now want to be sympathetic for unrighteous people, but we don't have that kind of time now. It was given to you. But people are being prepared now mentally. They're just looking for their home, which is the nation of Yahweh. So it's important for us to be righteous, one of the moral attributes. And again, we're going to have to guard our nation. We cannot be sympathetic to immorality. It's not about who we want. It's about who Yahweh wants. We have seen people come amongst our nation in the past. Black was hellraisers. They were the ones that lied on Yahweh ben Yahweh and our nation. They were agents for the government, those that was in rulership. We don't want to ever go through that again. So instituting morality as a way of life, you have women, you have children, sisters, brothers. It has to be a safe haven for them. Talking again.
Just to piggyback off what you said about righteousness being mandatory. Not only is righteousness and self-management about being disciplined, it's a spiritual offer. This is something that Yahweh requires of us. So if we're not fulfilling this requirement, then what are you doing? It's about aligning your actions, your feelings, your thoughts, everything with the Torah and what Yahweh taught. We're not just, human beings living a human experience. We're vessels for Yahweh. We're stewards of Yahweh. I remember Yahweh talking about that, how we have to be stewards, of our nation and being examples for people to follow when it comes to being righteous. And being righteous is self-management.
Yes.
That's how we honor Yahweh. That's how we honor Yahweh and what he came here to do. A lot of people think that Yahweh is going to come back. And my response to that is, okay, well, if he was coming back, what were we supposed to do then? Didn't he leave here giving us a task to complete? If you can't complete the task, where's your self-management? The task was for us to build this nation, to become self-sustainable, to have businesses, to be successful, have families, children, husbands, wives, and children, all those things. Being able to fund our nation financially, economics. We were required to do all of that when Yahweh left. And, if we sitting around waiting on him to come back, it's not getting done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not getting done. Where's the self-management at that point? So we all, as stewards of Yahweh, have to be striving for these things. If we're not striving to be economically savvy, if we're not striving to be financially stable, if we're not striving for good, wholesome nuclear families, you know, like things like that. If we're not striving for those things, we're not doing what Yahweh asked us to do, and He's not going to return to us like in that state.
Maybe just the
If you look in the dates, not the dates, but the Key Study Bible and Romans 8:19, and you study that scripture, and it says that the whole world is waiting on the manifestation of the sons of Yahweh. And when you look up the word sons, that means family, that includes daughters also. But the world is waiting on those of us that's going to become just like Yahweh ben Yahweh. That's so what are we waiting on? If we say we're the family of Yahweh, then we have a commitment to Him to fulfill Matthew 5:48. To be perfect just like Him in all ways. And the world is waiting on the manifestation of the family of Yahweh. Now, if you take that same Key Study Bible, those who have a Key Study Bible, it's even worth it to get you one. And when it says that the whole world is waiting on the manifestation, run that reference number. You may be shocked. You may be shocked to see what you see when you look that up.
You know, sometimes, you know, when I hear that, and I hear that well, not often, I would say, but from some people say, like, well, yeah, I was coming back. I'm like, so that means you're going to straighten up when you get here? Like, what does that mean? What are you saying right now? Like,
Right.
what are you really saying when you say, like, it's usually in the context of things we should be doing.
They ain't saying nothing.
Like what the nation is doing and things we have going on and what we need or what we're working towards.
Right.
And then that pops out, oh, yeah, was coming back. Okay. And then what? Then what? What? He comes back and then you're gonna come and start helping and giving tithes and want to do good.
Come back and do everything again.
Yeah, like I'm like, like what are you saying? Like you waiting for him to come and get everything back up and running? Like I'm like, what are you saying when you say that? I'm like, but you're here now.
Right.
So now what? Like that always confused me. I'm like, what you saying for real when you say that?
Which is impossible. You can't just change. In an instant.
Right, it don't work like that.
So it's interesting that we bring it up because I was having a conversation about this the other day.
Yeah, pardon me. I mean, yeah, what are you saying? He's coming back. What are you saying? He's coming back. I mean, what you thought all his teachings was for? His teachings that he taught us was for not for you to wait till he come back.
Right.
He's coming back in us.
Right. He's here now.
He's awakening himself in us. We have to understand that we are him. And we'll go over that in the class tonight. but he experienced everything that we experienced. You know, everybody think that the son came back perfect. No, he was born from among us. Being born from among us means that he was doing some of the things that we were doing. He was exposed to the same institutions, the same religions, the same organizations, and the same temptations. He experienced all that. That's why he would tell us sometime when we talk to him and say, I understand. Yeah, because he experienced it too. He overcame that so to show us that we can overcome. And again, that book is so important, How to Overcome the World. But that book was written by Yahweh and Yahweh as instructions for us. These were instructions. You want to be my child? Read this book and conform to it. Study this book, intense mental application in your mind so that you can become just like me, being created and made in his image. When you look up the word in a good thesaurus, it will say his family. His family. So we really need help. What he's gonna come back and do what? What is he gonna come back for if he taught us the same thing that he knows? Well, what for what?
They're not gonna change when they come back. If he was to come back today,
You're absolutely
they're
right.
gonna be exactly the same.
They're standing around looking around.
Because it's an excuse.
And it's an excuse not to do what we're supposed to.
Exactly.
It's actually like, it's an excuse. It's an excuse.
Yes, they use that as an excuse
Yes.
to not have to do the task that Yahweh
Yep.
before he left. He left us with a slew of instructions and tasks to complete. It's like, so for my job, I do coding. The specific language that I code is called SQL. SQL is a query language. And so that means that you write a list of instructions for that database in order for that database to respond to you in a certain way. And so Yahweh gave us a list of instructions, a list of SQL coding that we have to execute. And if we don't execute it properly, we'll have no results. It'll be empty. The table will be empty. The table of data that we're trying to pull will be empty. So if we're not following the formula that Yahweh gave us, what do you expect him to come back to? If he did come back, like you said, if he come back today, if he come back tomorrow, what is he going back to? A bunch of lazy, broke people that don't want to do nothing?
Step on some toes there.
I mean, it is what it is, right? You don't have to step on some toes because everybody wants to have an excuse for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they want to use Yahweh as an excuse not to do those things. They want to use Yahweh as an excuse for everything in their life. They want to blame Yahweh for everything that goes on in their lives. They want to act like, well, Yahweh got me doing this, so hey, I'm going to just do this. So Yahweh told you to sit your behind on your behind and do nothing.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so complete the task. So that way, if you do decide to come back, you're not coming back to a bunch of lazy folk.
Right. Stick to the mission.
Stick to the mission.
I remember one time this this brother, he's a doctor now, and it was us three together, Yahweh, him and me, and he said, well, Yahweh, I'm getting ready to take my test to become a doctor, and would you pray for me? Yahweh said, did you study something? He said, yes, sir. He said, well, you can use this prayer for something else. In other words, you got to put yourself in a position to win.
Put the work in.
Yep.
Put the work in. Put the work in. So I never forgot that. But, he is coming back. And we become him, he's coming back. And like you said, if he decides to come back, look what he's coming back to, himself. Yes.
Never.
And that's powerful when what you said about it. I always say, we'll say prepare for something else. When I pray, I'm very intentional and it's super specific at times because the God I serve is alive and he'll give you what you ask for. So you need to be careful what you ask for. And I was talking to one of my client families and he was like, when he flies, he doesn't like flying, but he does it, he travels, he prays every time he gets on his prayers for himself and this. And I was like, oh, I pray when I fly. I pray for everybody. He was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, yes, because if Yahweh wanna get somebody on that plane, Yahweh, I'm praying for them too, because I gotta get off this plane too. So everybody on the plane gonna get one powerful prayer.
Right?
And once we make it through that gate, then he can drop me right there.
Yep.
If he needs to, like, let me get off the
Yeah.
plane. So you gonna get this prayer from the pilot to anybody hiding on the cargo bay trying to get in the country, and you all getting a prayer.
Especially the pilot.
Yeah, especially the pilot. Very intentional and specific about what we're praying for and when exactly we are praying. So pray Yahweh.
I never thought that people would use Yahweh as an excuse. It's wild to think about. That Yahweh will be an excuse. It will be your way out. Oh, he coming back. Like you said, what does that mean? He gonna be here, he ain't back here, he left, or whatever excuse it is. And then you turn around, go back to the dark corner who's doing your stuff.
Yeah.
And then peek your head back on. Yeah, I was talking about that. He said they go in and come back in all the time. Halfway out. All the time.
And then using him as an excuse to stay sad.
Yes.
Like I know some people who's like, well, Yahweh ain't got me in there. I'm waiting on him. I'm trying to do this, but until he have me and tell me that I need to be doing that, I'm like, what you mean until he tell you to take a shower every morning?
Right.
Like, what does that mean? Like, do what you need to do, and they'll use him as an excuse to be lazy within their everyday life or in their sad situation,
Right.
or to have people around who they know they should be free from.
Exactly.
That's exhausting their self-management
Right.
and preventing them from managing themselves because they're managing others.
Right.
And they'll use Yahweh as an excuse
Yeah.
to not do what they should be doing.
Absolutely.
So that's another thing.
Absolutely.
That's why you can tell those that don't believe in, don't understand, and don't practice self-management, because someone will jump up and say, they're Yahweh, and Yahweh, and then these people will follow them. They've been really looking for some flesh. I never forget this brother who was talking. He was an elder. And we were talking, and I said, well, Yahweh still is, bro. And he came out and said, well, I need some flesh. That all nations have their king. And he wants some flesh.
Right.
And he literally followed that guy because he needed some flesh. And we have to understand not to follow flesh. We need to become conscious that Yahweh lives in us, that we're the temple of Yahweh. That really means that for real.
That's the scripture.
We have to awaken Yahweh in us. We have to induce Yahweh in us. That's a choice that we have to come to understand. That induce means to bring forth something that's latent. It's not a ready. That's within us. That's why the educational system is failing, because it's not teaching the students. They're not giving them the education to induce them to understand that their Creator lives in them. So they turn around and exhibit the characteristics of this world. And the students in the condition that they're in today, either because of what we did or what we didn't do.
Yes, sir.
But we have a responsibility. All children today, now come to Yahweh. Follow Yahweh, His law, statute, judgments, commandments that we right. And He commands us to teach your children's children. So if you're not teaching your children's children, Why do you trust this society to teach your children? And then when they turn out the way they turn out, then you want to turn your back on. You're the one who sent them there. That's why it's time for the righteous to come together and establish the Yahweh institutions,
Yes, sir.
where they can learn about themselves, where they can understand that you are God and that you are children of the Most High. Praise God.
You know, give Yahweh a chance.
Oh!
They'll do everything. They'll go walk behind a man who holding up a box. Some guy in the desert chopping up stuff. Someone sacrificing a goat. And they'll follow all. Give Yahweh a chance.
We done tried everything. We done tried all the religions. We done tried all the religions. We done tried all of our organizations. Why not give Yahweh a chance?
It's a t-shirt. I'll make a t-shirt.
Give Yahweh a chance. Give Yahweh a chance. Is that too much? We gotta make it that way. They can see that. Give Yahweh a
Find
chance.
out how. Why do I like You might not know how to give them a chance. We'll help you.
But again, give Yahweh. You done tried everything.
Oh,
See, the interesting thing about this world, we have tried everything.
now you doing something.
I have personally, at a young age, I don't have to name these organizations. I've tried multiple organizations. I went and sat in multiple religions. And I just never accepted I got to die to go to heaven. It's just something in me that I just would never accept. I got to die to go to heaven. And when I look up the word heaven, I see heavenly things around us while I'm living. No, I don't have to die to go to heaven.
You mean that man flying that private jet telling you you're gonna die here?
Right?
That's the one that's telling me.
6-car garage.
I seen a guy, he was known as the richest man in the world. He has close to $200 billion. Now, I'm not looking for the $200 billion because I really understand that the wicked is going to accumulate the wealth for us. See, I used to say I'm going to wait on Yahweh. No, I'm going to teach about Yahweh. I'm going to perfect myself and continue to look for the righteous people because I already know that's mine.
Yes, sir.
The whole earth and all that's in it is actually mine. So I don't have to settle for this world's luxuries. This world, their money gonna fail anyway. Wow, okay, you better hurry up and get yourself some silver. You better hurry. Y'all been taught it for years. You better get some silver. Don't come looking funny when this dollar fails. You better get you some silver. But give Yahweh a chance.
It's funny though. They say they waiting on Yahweh. Well, Yahweh waiting on you.
There's a scripture in the Bible, right? Stephen says, y'all probably can think of it, but it was when the man asked his father for his wealth, and he went out and splurged. And once he splurged, and now he's homeless, he's hanging out with the pigs, prodigal son, hanging out with the pigs, and finally it clicked on his head that I don't have to live like this. I can return to my father. The interesting thing was Yahweh was always watching him. And when he made a decision to come back to Yahweh, Yahweh ran to him to meet him. And he is waiting on us. But that wait is not forever now.
Oh, no.
It's not forever. He waited long enough. Excuse me.
So the comment I was going to make is when it comes to us trying all these different religions and these different belief systems. The gag is that when we decided to subscribe to those religions, we wasn't waiting on anybody to come back. You know, maybe Christianity, that's how we did it but we tried Muslim culture, Buddhism, all of these different religions and stuff that they have out there that Black people in America have tried. Not once did they teach us that somebody was coming back for us, and we never once was waiting on anyone to come back for us. In Buddhism, well, Buddha was just a man, like everybody else, that taught a certain, thought process. Same with a lot of these other cultures, even with Muslim culture. Muhammad was a prophet, a man, just a man teaching about a certain thought process. Exactly. So, but you don't hear the Muslim people talk about they waiting on Muhammad to come back. You don't hear the the Buddhists talking about they waiting on Buddha to come back. You know, they're even in Indian cultures and stuff. You don't hear none of them talking about any of those gods that they was worshiping coming back. But we're the only ones, for some reason, that can't give Yahweh a chance and follow his teachings for what they are. You know, we're expecting something else. We want something else. We requiring something else of our Messiah, That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah, and when they go to other religions, they take it $5,000 and donate it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, take it. Yes, I'm a real Muslim now. I'm a real Muslim now. Easy. But when it comes to giving it's 10%.
Yeah.
The nation. Oh man,
And then the other
And
10% go to the
to
city.
yourself.
top of pocket. I got it, man.
Yeah, I don't even tell you to give something to you. Don't just give something to him. You gotta give something to yourself.
Right?
And then there is, when it comes to self-management for parents, and I think there's a huge accountability for parents because when you have children can't manage themselves within the house. You have to manage them. And I also think that responsibility for those parents carries the same way for their grandchildren. Because Yahweh said, teach your children and your children's children. He's talking to you. He's not telling you to teach your children to teach their children. He's telling you to teach your children, and you are going to teach your children's children. So you're going to teach your grandchildren as well. Because there's so many of my peers, and I've cried about this, like literally shed tears that these beautiful people that I grew up with in Yahweh, learning the same thing I'm learning, are not here sitting with me now. And then I look at them and they have children and they're eating bacon and shrimp, and some of them, oh my God, some of them are even going to church now. And I'm like, what happened?
Exactly my point.
And I'm not gonna even put 100% of the blame on them because they sat with me as a child. So that's where it starts. And that management, that self-management comes with how you're gonna manage yourself and manage your children, and then continuing that to manage their children.
Yes.
Because I know some Hebrews too, that their grandchildren, they're gonna get Yahweh.
Yep.
You might be doing what you're doing, they know how to raise you. You out there and maybe temptation got you, give me those babies because they don't get Yahweh.
Yes.
You gonna know what you gonna do? We will make sure these I'm still trying. Whatever happened with you, praise Yahweh. Yahweh is true. Yahweh's not a man and he shall lie. So go ahead and give me the children because I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right somewhere. And that is a really big deal because it's so disheartening, and it's a part of managing yourself as a parent with children. And I can only imagine because I don't have any children of my own. All children are my children. I love children. But just me managing myself, I'm not going to say that is easy. So I'm going to give some grace, of course, because one children, okay, but Hebrews, we have so many children.
Right.
And so you have to manage that. And then their children, imagine you got 6, 8 children, and all those 6, 8 children, now they each got 3, 4, 5 children. That's a lot of managing you gotta do
Yeah.
right now. You got like 30 grandkids that you gotta make sure get this knowledge.
Right.
But that is a huge responsibility because I see my peers are not, they're not here. And it came from teaching.
It's the teaching, but a big part of it, I think, is this society's obsession with non-accountability.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Right?
definitely.
There's an obsession where I'm not the reason something's happening. I'm not the reason I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, it's all over the internet.
yeah.
It's all over.
Reason why my life is
Yeah, I'm all over. People blame the parents. People blame their friends.
That's true.
People blame the children. Right? I would have been a millionaire if it was for my children. I know we've all heard that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you are what you was going to be. That's what you are.
Right.
Right? They like the church. I'm gonna tell you why they like the church. They like the church because the Christian religion literally is a religion of non-accountability.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's why they see flesh. I need some flesh. Because you can put the blame on the flesh. The flesh is the blame. Oh, that's the reason why. You know, that's the reason why I do drugs. Right? That's the reason why I jump from person to person in my relationships. Right? You did this to me. Because to sit down and face yourself, yes,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm the reason this happened to me. Right? I'm the reason I'm homeless. I'm the reason that, you know, I don't have a relationship with my mom or dad.
Yeah.
I'm the reason that my children don't like me. I'm the reason, right? And then on the flip side of that, if you're a righteous person and you're a just and moral person, that doesn't mean the people that are close to you are also going to be just and moral. That's something that I feel like people in the nation y'all need to learn. Just because you're righteous doesn't necessarily mean that person is righteous. That could be your brother, that could be your sister, that could be your mother, that could be your father.
Yeah.
And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah.
That's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. That, wow, people be, oh man, we blood. You know, you should know this.
Yeah.
And I've literally heard someone tell me, oh, I eat shrimp, you know, because it's not that it's an abomination, it's just unclean. That's the excuse. It's just unclean. And if that's going to be the excuse for things, you imagine what else people make excuses for.
Yeah. It's just unclean. But he said don't eat it.
Right.
He said he literally, that's a commandment. He tell you don't do something. That's a commandment.
Right.
That's crazy.
But people will take the law, and this is another topic I wish we were coming on time. We can't, you know, there's a lot of people talking today. 5 hours. We coming up on time. But people, it's the last thing I said, people will take the commandments and laws, and they will fit them to fit their narrative,
Yep.
to how they feel,
Yep.
right?
Consistently.
I've seen different sections of Yahweh
Mm-hmm.
where some will tell you that, oh, we keep you for 2 days, it's fine. Literally seeing that. Certain places. I've seen other people say, oh, okay, you know, it's fine, you can have feast anyway, you don't have to go. And yeah.
I hear that a lot. That's an excuse where they gotta.
And this is just examples. I can go on many examples.
So let them stay right with it.
And you know, keeping the law, statute, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh, that's the ultimate self-management. Because
Yes.
there's so much diet, cleanliness, how you conduct
Oh.
yourself, the clothes you even wear, your hair,
Yep.
the people you keep around, practices with significant others, and
Yes.
dating and courting.
All of it.
Like there's, to keep the law, statute, judgments, and commandments, that is self-management.
Mhm.
And when you learn, let's say you didn't have Yahweh, and you're learning then you come in learning that self-management. And I think there's a difference there from being within Yahweh and then coming from the outside in. Because people come from the outside and they're like, wow, I didn't even know that this was a thing. I didn't know, okay, I'm gonna try to do this. And then when you're here, you either die and you have a one-up, or you totally disregard, and now it's gonna be harder for you. You should be doing these things to at least a little, some extent, to where now you got the platform on how to manage yourself within the law, statute, and judges and canons.
Right.
And if you don't, then that's gonna be tough. But Yahweh's God, and there's scripture in Proverbs or Psalms that says the law of Yahweh is certain and it's sure. And when you do that, and when you keep his law, statutes, justice, and commandments, there's a level of comfort and ease. Because now, okay, I got my 10 and 10, I can do that. Okay, good. Now I don't have to report. Things will start to come easy as you get a handle on keeping the laws. Because now you're managing yourself. Now you're coming into managing yourself. And once you do one thing, it can have a domino effect.
Right. All right. Well, we can talk about it. I'm gonna say one more thing. She said something I want to touch on. She said the scriptures, Yahweh has answers for everything. From your hair, from your clothing you wear,
Yeah.
how you smell,
Yeah.
right? From the food you eat, right? From how you treat other people. What a scripture my mom talk about all the time. Ephesians 4:26. And it's basically not like the sun set on your anger. That's a management for relationships.
Yeah.
Right? Don't go to bed angry at your partner. About relationships also. Right? So the answers are there. But we just it's part of the formula.
So self-management can be easy in Yahweh if you follow the law, statutes, and commandments. If you're actually reading your Bible with the intent to understand and to follow it,
Yeah.
not just to read it to say you've done it or something, but to actually read it to try and apply it. Self-management can come pretty good. The answers are there.
Well, Brother Montap will be letting me know it's time to end the ceremony. Just to wrap it up, I mean, trust me, we help touch the surface of the topic about self-management. Self-management is a vast topic, and we will be talking about it again. This might be a few different fees talking about self-management, because I think it's extremely important. Extremely important. I want to thank everybody. I didn't do introduction at the beginning. I wanted to introduce at the end after people get to see us. All right, so introduce yourself.
My name is Yehoshua by Yahweh. I live New Orleans, Louisiana.
Anaya Binal, also.
Amar Ben Yahweh, right here in the sunny 90-degree weather, Riviera Beach, Florida, right on the ocean. We have a few nights you can still come and make your way to the Feast of Weeks, but we are preparing right now for the Feast of Tabernacles.
My name is Nivea Dina Detroya, coming from Holiday, Florida.
I'll let that
Again, Kaki, Atalia, Bab Yahweh, coming from Miami, Florida, join the Feast of Weeks. Yahweh.
Rachel Kishula, Miami, Florida, /Riviera Beach.
Jayla
from Oklahoma City. I'm sorry from the water.
Dakota Mitchell from Louisiana.
All right. We're gonna wrap it up. Hope you guys tuned in tonight for the feast. Watch this. This was full of information. This is full of wealth of information. And you learn a lot from this seminar. Stay tuned. YBY Alliance, Yahweh Ben Yahweh Alliance, which means that we follow the moral attributes of Yahweh Ben Yahweh. The nation of Yahweh. Thank you.